Yes, my people, what's going on? Welcome to episode 4 of Get Rich with God. Today's episode is called Think with Your Heart. I'm going to be diving deep into my understanding of the conscious and subconscious mind and why you need to start thinking with your subconscious mind, aka thinking with your heart. I have my script right here. I'm going to reference Bible verses, so it's not only just my understanding, but it's my understanding of the Word of God and the way that I interpret it. If you find anything valuable, make sure to take notes and leave them in the comment section below. But without further ado, welcome to Think with Your Heart. So, to start off, what is impressed will be expressed. What does that mean? Essentially, that means what is expressed or what's experienced in your life is a result of your internal programming, which is primarily based on the beliefs you formed about certain things, or maybe the rejections that you've had over your experience. And yeah, that's what's been impressed into. For example, here's an exercise. If I tell you to look around at your room and find everything that you see that's red, I'm sure that you'd be able to do it. But now, if I were to tell you to close your eyes, and now try to name anything in your room that you saw which was blue, you'd probably struggle. But when you open your eyes, you'd obviously come to realize that you're probably surrounded by a bunch of blue. The reason why this happens is because your brain looks for things which you set your mind on in order to prove itself right. Your brain is a goal-seeking mechanism. So, if you extrapolate this into your life and the things you experience, it must be true that what you perceive to be true and real about your reality is only real because you've unconsciously been programmed to look for these certain things. For example, beliefs like life is going to be hard because you're black, or life is going to be hard because you're a woman, are only true in your experience because you've been programmed to believe these things. But in this episode, I'll teach you how to use this mechanism to your advantage and change your beliefs, which will then change your perception of reality so you can stop living as a victim within your own world. So, there's an interesting quote that I remember hearing along my journey of understanding, which was, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Unfortunately, this is the way that most people operate their lives. People try so hard to force their way into new situations by simply trying to do more. But even though people know what to do, doing more isn't the solution. To my understanding, the solution is being more, becoming more. Because remember, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So then the question is, how do you make the unconscious conscious? Well, first, you have to understand your subconscious mind. So, if my younger self was watching this video, I would tell him to ask himself, why is it easier for some people to do hard things like sit and focus and do deep work for hours, or voluntarily do cold showers, or train heavy at the gym, go very consistently, resist junk food and all that stuff? It's not as if every time they're faced with these decisions, they hop in the shower like, should I do it, should I not? Or maybe they are, that they have to choose if they want to do it. It gets to a point where doing the hard thing is just part of who they are, right? They do these things unconsciously without thinking about it, and it gets to that point because I've experienced it in my own life. I go to the gym every day. I get deep work done every day. I try my best to eat clean, but I don't eat clean. But like some of the hard things that I thought was hard before, they've just become part of who I am. So, based on the Bible, how can we become more instead of hitting our heads against the walls like a fly trying to do more? Well, we have these Bible verses that I've referenced. So if you go to Romans 12 verse 2, or Romans 12 verse 2, it says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." So if you were to break that down, step 1, first you need to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And then step 2 is then you will not only be able to test, but finally approve of God's good, pleasing, and perfect will. Step 1, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Step 2, then you'll be able to test and approve of God's good, pleasing, and perfect will. Okay, so God is telling us to renew our minds. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. But then in the Bible, it also says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you were to break that down, step 1, thinketh in your heart. Step 2, be. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if this is your first time hearing this, you're probably wondering, how can somebody think with their heart? I thought we're supposed to think with our minds. But that's the thing, right? You know that eating healthy is good. You know that discipline matters. You know that money is easy to make based on the people who you've watched. I know a lot of people making a lot of money compared to like the average 9-to-5 worker, because I'm an entrepreneur and I'm just going down that path. You know that it's easy for some people. If it's possible, then if it's been done before, then it's possible, right? And you know these things. But the thing is, even though you know the things, you don't act aligned with your beliefs. Why is that? Well, it's because knowledge doesn't drive your behavior. Your belief does. Your emotional conviction behind a certain action drives your behavior. Basically meaning that the way that you feel about things shape your beliefs around them. To my understanding, your brain represents your conscious mind, but your heart represents your subconscious mind. And let me explain why. In Ezekiel 36, verse 26 to 27, it says, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit in you and move you to follow my decrees and be careful to keep my laws. Which basically says a new heart is what is going to change you. So now that you understand this, the question is, how do you think with your heart instead of your brain or your conscious mind, so you can impress beliefs about the life that you want, so it will reflect in a smoother experience? Because remember, what is impressed into your mind will be expressed. For example, trauma. People only need to be traumatized once for their beliefs to be formed. And that is because trauma is usually related to a very heavy negative emotion. So your emotional conviction around a certain event has been heavily impacted in your heart, where your feelings are. And that's what's impressed. So when you experience a certain thing, then blah, 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 whatever. You understand what I'm saying? I can't say I fully know the answer, but this is what's worked for me so far in terms of impressing positivity into my life. What I did was I created vivid mental pictures, vivid enough for me to read it and experience the feeling by just thinking about it, or about just by listening to it. Like, I'll read over a description of what I want my life to look like based on my vision board that I've created, so descriptively that I could sit back, let my conscious mind rest, and the words will hit my heart. And I will not only just hear the words, but I'll feel the emotions. For example, instead of just saying that you want to make a goal with a lot of entrepreneurs, beginner entrepreneurs, it's like $10,000 a month, let's say. Instead of just saying, I want to make $10,000 a month, you could rephrase that to say, I look at my mother in her eyes and she smiles from ear to ear. I hand her a check of $10,000 and she gasps, she can't believe it. I reach out my arms and she falls into my arms and I give her a nice warm hug. Something like that, right? That was just off the top. Compared to just saying $10,000 a month, the descriptive version of that exact same event is what creates the feeling, right? So once I started feeling the dream life and believing that it's already done with Christ, that's the most important thing. It's already done with Christ because that's the way he sees you as. Things will finally start falling into place. So I started going to the gym and I started training in the way which I saw myself on the vision board. Like I used to just like lift weight, but now I'm doing boxing, strength and mobility, all that stuff. And I remember last time I was at the gym, I was just hitting a leg day. And one of my workouts was like walking lunges. But then I looked at my vision board and I'm like, in my vision board, I had like a weight over my back while I was doing the walking lunges. So I went ahead and grabbed the weights and did exactly what I saw myself doing in my vision board. Like, it's been impressed into my heart so deeply that my actions will reflect in real life. So I'm bringing it from my subconscious mind into reality because I've impressed it into myself. And I do this every day, and now I start talking to myself in the way that my dream version of me would. I stop hanging out with people that the dream version of myself wouldn't hang out with. I cut out bad habits. Like, I'm gonna admit, I used to smoke. Like, I got into smoking. And even though it was a rough battle, I knew I wasn't a smoker, you know? Because I was surrounded by the wrong people, whatever. And because I knew that I wasn't a smoker, and I believed that it was already done through Christ, that like I would just like quit, I ended up doing it, which gave me the power of quitting, you know, because I knew that it was done with Christ. So, and eventually I would fully align with the man who God saw myself as, just by cutting out that habit, by impressing this belief into my system. So although I'm not fully living the exact life that I visualize right now, I've become the person who I visualize because I've impressed the beliefs of the better version of myself into my heart and believed it was already done through Christ. And then, as I said, I'm now taking these beliefs into action, and it's just become part of who I am. So if you feel like you know what to do, but struggle to do it, it's because you're thinking with your conscious mind. Knowledge isn't the answer. You need to become more. So you need to stop thinking with your mind, your brain, and start thinking with your heart, your subconscious mind, and genuinely be in a state of gratitude towards God because He's already promised that it is already done in His eyes. Thank you for watching. Think with your heart. What is impressed will be expressed, so you must impress positive beliefs into your system in order to experience them. If you liked the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe. If you took some notes, make sure you drop them in the comment. I want to see what you're thinking. But anyways, I'll catch you next week. Peace out.